With Olivia's help, I set up a meeting with a reporter from a major news outlet, someone who had been following the Hendricks scandal closely. I handed over the full dossier of evidence. My father's involvement in laundering money, my mother's role in helping Hendricks, and the detailed documents linking Hendricks to the charity fraud. It was all there. Every dirty detail. I wasn't just fighting for my house anymore. I was fighting for everything my family had built and everything they had tried to tear down. The reporter was shocked by the magnitude of what I was offering. "This is a gold mine," she said, flipping through the papers. "We're talking about some serious charges here, criminal charges. This could end Hendricks, your parents, and the whole operation." I nodded. "It's the truth. All I want is justice." She set up the story immediately, working around the clock to verify everything. It wasn't long before the media had caught wind of it, and the story broke like a thunderclap across the airwaves. "Hendricks linked to multi-million-dollar fraud scheme," the headlines screamed. But it wasn't just Hendricks anymore. My family's name was now tied to it. The next day, I received a call from my father. His voice was a mix of disbelief and fury. "You've made a huge mistake," he said, his voice low and threatening. "You don't know what you've done, but I promise you, there's no going back now." "I'm not afraid of you anymore," I said, standing tall. "You've crossed a line, Dad. This isn't just about the house. It's about everything you've hidden from me. Don't pretend like you know anything about real sacrifice," he snapped. "I've been trying to protect you from the truth. You don't get to undo everything I've worked for." "Protect me?" I echoed bitterly. "You've been using me, Dad. All of this, it was all a game to you. But not anymore." There was a silence on the other end, and then he spoke again, quieter this time. "You've gone too far, and now Hendricks is going to make sure you regret it. He's not someone you can just take down." "Watch me," I said, hanging up. By the end of the week, the full extent of the scandal was out in the open. Hendricks was under investigation, my father's business dealings were being questioned by the authorities, and my mother's role in everything was being examined under a microscope. The media was relentless, and every day, new details came to light. "If you want to save your family, you need to stop this now." Attached was a video. I hesitated for a moment, then clicked on the file. The video showed my mother and Hendricks in a private meeting, discussing a plan to cover up everything. But what caught my attention was what they said next. "We can't let him win." My mother's voice was clear in the recording. "If we let this go too far, we'll all be ruined." "He's too close to the truth," Hendricks replied. "But if we do this the right way, we can turn it around. I'll make sure of it." That night, I sat in my apartment, staring at the screen. I didn't know what was worse. The fact that my family had been lying to me all along, or the fact that they were still willing to go to any lengths to protect themselves. I had a choice now. I could back down, stop everything, and let Hendricks win. Or I could push forward, expose them all, and let the truth come to light. I knew what I had to do. I had to finish what I had started. The next morning, I called Olivia and told her everything. "The video is my final piece. We need to expose it. If we do, there's no coming back from this." Olivia's voice was quiet but resolute. "I've already set up a meeting with a few key reporters. They'll air it live, and once it's out there, it'll be game over for them." As I made my way to the meeting place, my mind raced. I couldn't stop thinking about the consequences. My family would never be the same again. But it was the only way to ensure my own future, and to take control of the life they had been trying to steal from me. The meeting went down exactly as planned. The video was broadcast, and the fallout was immediate. My parents were implicated in the scandal, Hendricks was arrested, and the house, the one my family had fought so hard to take from me, was finally mine. The days following the broadcast were a blur. I was suddenly the face of a media storm, no longer just a man fighting for her house, but a symbol of resilience. The press hounded me for interviews, people I'd never met reached out with messages of support, and a part of me felt vindicated. It was as if I had finally broken free from the web of lies and manipulation my family had spun around me. But there was a part of me that wasn't celebrating. The victory had come at a cost, and I felt the weight of it in ways I hadn't expected. Yes, my family was being exposed, but it wasn't just about them anymore. The phone rang, snapping me out of my thoughts. It was Olivia. "Are you sitting down?" she asked, her voice tight. I frowned, instinctively feeling the shift in her tone. "What's happened?" "Hendrix is out on bail," she said, each word heavy with gravity. "He's using his connections to try and turn the tables. He's not going to take this lying down. And your family is trying to get ahead of the damage control. They're making moves, and it's not good." I felt a chill run down my spine. "What do you mean, not good?" "Your father and Hendrix are making deals again," Olivia explained, her voice low. "It's not just about the house anymore. It's about them trying to regain control. All of it." My heart pounded. "What are they planning?" "They're digging into your past, trying to find something, anything, to use against you. They want to make you look unstable, like you're a threat to the family legacy. It's all part of their strategy." I gritted my teeth. "They can't do this. I've already exposed them." "You've exposed some of it," Olivia corrected, her tone unwavering. "But not all of it. They still have leverage, and they won't go down quietly. It's time for you to prepare yourself for what comes next." As much as I hated to admit it, Olivia was right. Hendrix was out for revenge. "Do you want the truth?" she asked, her voice tense. I swallowed. "What do you mean?" "There's something you don't know about your father's connections. The stuff Hendrix is involved in goes far beyond what you've uncovered. It's international. Your father isn't just about real estate. He's tangled up in some seriously dangerous deals. And they're about to come for you, full force." My breath caught in my throat. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying it's not just about a house anymore, or a family fight," Claire continued. "They're going to come after your reputation, after your life. You need to be ready." As the weeks passed, things got worse. Hendrix started using his influence to discredit me in the media, calling me a fraud and unstable. The news outlets that once hailed me as a hero now painted me as a manipulative, vengeful soul. The narrative was shifting, and my parents were more than happy to back it up, telling stories of my unstable behavior and questionable motives. Everywhere I went, people whispered about me. The whispers turned into gossip, and the gossip became full-fledged rumors. My name was dragged through the mud, and the legal battles I had fought so hard for started to feel like they were slipping away. I tried to keep it together, tried to remain focused on what I had already achieved. But the pressure was unbearable. It was one thing to fight for a house, but fighting for your own dignity felt like an entirely different battle. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, I received a message from someone I never expected. "Ryan, we need to talk," the message said. I met him in a secluded cafe. When I saw him, I noticed the way his eyes shifted nervously. Something was off. "I know what you're thinking," he said, sitting across from me. "But you have to understand. Things have changed. Hendrix and we're in this together now." I stared at him in disbelief. "What are you talking about? You betrayed me? After everything?" Ryan avoided my gaze, his hands fidgeting. "It's not that simple. They have my family. My real family. Hendrix has the kind of power that makes people disappear. I had no choice." I stood up, my heart racing with anger. "You've been playing both sides this whole time?" He didn't answer, his silence cutting deeper than words ever could. I didn't know who to trust anymore. Hendrix had my family, my parents had betrayed me, and now Ryan, the one person I thought I could rely on, had switched sides. Everything I had fought for, everything I thought I had won, seemed to be crumbling around me. My reputation was in tatters, my family was divided, and now I was facing an even bigger battle than before. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at my reflection. I didn't recognize the person looking back at me anymore. Olivia called, "Are you okay?" I almost laughed, but it came out as a bitter chuckle. "Define okay. Right?" she said, her voice soft. "Listen, I've been talking to the legal team. You're still in control here, but we need to act fast. Hendrix and your parents are making their final moves. They're circling, and they won't stop until they've taken everything from you." "What do you mean, final moves?" They're planning something big. They're gonna try to make it seem like you're unfit to handle the house. They want to use your emotional state, all these rumors, and say you're not stable enough to own it. It's the last piece they need to win. I let her words sink in. There it was, the final blow they'd been waiting to deliver. They weren't just going after me. They were going to use the very thing I had fought to protect as a weapon against me. I won't let them take this from me, I said, my voice steady. I'll fight until the very end. But even as I said it, I knew things weren't going to be as simple as I wanted them to be. Hendricks had already tried everything he could, and now he was going for the kill. My family was still backing him, and Ryan's betrayal had shattered any trust one had left in anyone. I had no choice. It was time to take control once and for all. I spent the next few days working with Olivia and the legal team to devise a strategy. We had to turn the tables on them. Instead of defending myself, I would go on the offensive. I would expose every dark corner of my family's business dealings, every crime they had hidden, and every lie they'd told. But this time, I wouldn't just expose them in the media. I would make sure they couldn't escape the consequences of their actions. I knew Hendricks was watching. I knew my parents were preparing their own counterattack. But I had a secret weapon they didn't expect. I had the truth, and I was willing to use it. Late one night, after reviewing the evidence again, Olivia looked up from her laptop. We have everything we need. Tomorrow we release it all. The video, the documents, everything. I nodded. Make sure the media outlets are ready. This is the end of the line for them. The day we released everything, the world stood still. The media picked up on it almost instantly. Every outlet was running with the story. The video of my parents meeting with Hendricks, the documents revealing the depth of their corruption. And even more, it was a tidal wave of truth that no one could escape. But the most surprising thing happened in the midst of all this chaos. As the legal authorities began to close in on them, I received a message from my mother. I'm sorry, it read. I never meant for it to go this far. I didn't know how to stop it. But I see now what I've done. I've destroyed everything. I never wanted to lose you. Please understand. I stared at the message, torn. My heart wanted to believe her, but my mind knew the truth. She had been a willing participant in this game. She had betrayed me just like the rest of them. As the dust settled, it became clear that Hendricks would face serious charges. My parents were forced to step down from their business dealings, and the family name was forever tainted. The house, the symbol of everything they had fought to take from me, was finally mine. But the price of that victory was higher than I could have ever imagined. The relationship with my family was irreparable. I had lost them, not just as allies, but as people I once loved. The truth had set me free, but it had also shattered the foundation of my past. In the end, the house was more than just a piece of property. It was a symbol of my resilience, my strength, and my willingness to fight for what was rightfully mine. It was the only thing I had left, the only thing they couldn't take from me. But even as I stood in that house, looking out at the horizon, I realized something else. The fight had changed me. I wasn't the same person I was when it all started. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, I felt in control of my destiny. And no one was going to take that from me. I wanted to ask Reddit if I did the right thing with my parents.